It's 2022, and just when we thought racism wouldn't and shouldn't be a problem anymore, it is. The owner of the Phoenix Suns and Mercury passed racist comments and was suspended for 1 year and will also be on notice after he comes back. But that's not it. Recently, the NBA commissioner made a statement about the whole thing. To find out more about it, keep watching. First up, what did the NBA commissioner have to say about the matter? So, according to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, Robert Sarver's 1-year suspension for making racial and gendered slurs could have been even longer, but he didn't have the right to take his team away. Sarver is the owner of the Phoenix Suns and Mercury. The 5-member committee that spent 9 months conducting the investigation came to the important conclusion that Sarver's use of slurs was not motivated by racial or gender-based animus, even though Silver stated that Sarver was on notice regarding future behavior. Moving on, the NBA charged Sarver with a fine, following an ESPN report detailing allegations of racism and misogyny during Sarver's 17 years as an owner. In November 2021, the NBA declared that Sarver would receive a $10 million fine and a 1-year suspension. Silver referred to the committee's conclusion as being pertinent. He said that he believed the final result would have been affected if they had determined that his actions were, in fact, driven by racial animus. They didn't discover that, though, and as a result, Silver imposed the highest fine permitted by the league. But he claimed that the reason Sarver's suspension was only for 1 full year and no longer was because there was no evidence of racial prejudice. Next up, let's talk about what Adam had to say about not taking away the team. Silver said that he has some authority thanks to this organization, and he uses that authority where he sees fit, but he's not allowed to take away Sarver's team, since there may be a procedure to remove someone's team in this league. He also said that he doesn't want to rest on that legal point. It's very complicated, and he ultimately decided that it didn't merit that level of consideration. He further added that he thinks Mr. Sarver will suffer greatly as a result of this. The Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz report was made public by the NBA. When recounting the statements of others, the investigation discovered that Sarver used the N-word at least 5 times while playing for the Suns and the Mercury of the WNBA. The investigation also turned up instances of unfair treatment of female employees, including jokes and offensive remarks about their appearance. Following that, what reaction did the decision gather? Many have criticized the league's punishment, with LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers and Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns making sharp comments on social media. Tamika Tremaglio, the executive director of the National Basketball Players Association, also criticized the punishment, calling Sarver's repeated actions horrible and saying that they have no place in our sport or any workplace for that matter. Tamika also released a statement that roughly said that she thinks Mr. Sarver wasn't worthy enough to be in a managerial post again. She also said that she expressed her thoughts on the extent of the punishment for Adam Sarver. According to Silver, it is difficult to compare what Sarver did to someone who commits an inappropriate act in the workplace in somewhat of an anonymous fashion. Other than the rights that come with owning an NBA team and how those are set up within our Constitution, Silver said, there's no neat answer. It would take a lengthy process and be very different from having a job to free that team from his control. Silver claimed to be aware of more information than what was disclosed in the report, but he was unable to divulge it to anyone because of a confidentiality agreement signed as part of the investigation. Silver told the reporters that from a personal perspective, he was somewhat in disbelief about what he discovered had happened over the previous 18 years in the Suns organization. He addressed it, and he's been keeping a close eye on it since then. He also said that the undisclosed data was also considered before the punishment was given. Let's learn more about how this case was compared to a former one. The handling of the Donald Sterling case by the NBA in 2014, when Silver suspended Sterling for life following the discovery of audio recordings of Sterling making racist remarks, has been compared with the investigation and punishment of Sarver. Silver, however, disagrees that the two scenarios should be compared. According to the commissioner, what was witnessed in the Donald Sterling case was overt racism directed at a particular demographic. We heard those words, even though it's challenging to know what's on someone's mind or in their heart. Robert Sarver's case is different. According to Adam, they were looking at the overall set of circumstances for the 18 years that he owned these teams. In the end, a judgment was made by the committee and him that in the circumstances in which he had used that language and that behavior, even though it was indefensible, it wasn't strong enough. Although it was completely different from what we saw in that earlier case, it is still unacceptable in every way to use language and act in that manner. Silver never brought up the possibility of Sarver voluntarily agreeing to sell the Suns during the investigation. Robert Sarver and I had numerous conversations along the way, and I let the investigation proceed. According to Silver, we made no assumptions about it. Apparently, Sarver had taken complete accountability and seemed fully remorseful. Adam ended his statement by saying that each day is a brand new day. It's not like we've finished the story. The chapter on these important events is now complete, but moving forward, they'll be keeping a close check on his behavior, which is justified. Now, for some other news. First, Jahm Najafi calls for Robert Sarver to resign. In an open letter to team employees, Phoenix Suns vice chairman and minority owner Jahm Najafi demanded the resignation of majority owner Robert Sarver, stating that there should be zero tolerance for lewd, misogynistic, and racist behavior in any workplace. Najafi is the team's second largest stakeholder. One of 3 vice chairmen for the Suns, along with several other minority investors. Najafi has been critical of Sarver ever since the allegations were first covered by ESPN in November. Sarver was found to have repeated the N-word at least 5 times while recounting the statements of others. The investigation by the law firm Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz found. According to a report, both black and white subordinates told him that he shouldn't have used the words in whatever context they were used in, let alone it happening repeatedly. The investigation also turned up instances of unfair behavior toward female employees, including related comments and improper remarks about the appearance of the workers. However, Najafi continued that he'll work tirelessly to ensure the next team steward treats all stakeholders with dignity, professionalism, and respect, even though he has no interest in taking over as managing partner of the Suns. Moving on, Nets revealed new uniforms. The Brooklyn Nets officially unveiled their Statement Edition uniform for the upcoming season, giving them another look to choose from for 2022 to 2023. The team claims that the all-black appearance was inspired by the traditional uniform of New Yorkers and is a forward-looking take on the team's core icon uniform that was first unveiled 10 years ago when the team moved from New Jersey to Brooklyn. According to Andrew Carson, Senior Vice President of Brand Marketing and Strategy, the parent company of the Brooklyn Nets and Barclays Center, the Brooklyn Nets made history 10 years ago when they became the first NBA team to use black and white as their primary colors. Black has long been the standard for New Yorkers. It's stylish and, to many, signifies edginess, sophistication, and elegance. Carson said, as they embark on the Nets' second decade in Brooklyn wearing a modernized version of the iconic uniform, they're proud to carry on that tradition. Lastly, Donovan Mitchell arrives in Cleveland. The New Yorker who grew up wondering what it was like to be LeBron James and cheering for Cleveland from afar got his first taste of it. "I was blown away," he said. Mitchell was greeted warmly by the Cavaliers on Wednesday as he was introduced, 2 weeks after the 3-time All-Star guard was acquired from Utah in a trade that shocked the NBA and caught him off guard while he was out playing golf. Mitchell had been hearing the trade rumors for months, and he had come to believe he was going to the Knicks, his hometown team. Being close to his mother Nicole once more and reuniting with family would have been ideal. Instead, he joined the rising Cavaliers in Cleveland as their newest player, who doubled their win total before narrowly missing the playoffs last season. They don't plan on doing this with the 26-year-old again. When Mitchell arrived at Burke Lakefront Airport, the team invited fans to meet him. He made a good first impression by getting out of the van while sporting a Browns baseball cap and a Cavs hoodie. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think there should have been a more strict penalty? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.